What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Spot. Today is Wednesday. We've got a couple things that we want to go over here real quick. So you guys just finished the 11-7 homework assignment. Just about all of you got that in, which is great. Today I'm going to just post a video. Really, I'm just going to go over that assignment. Okay, and I'm going to let you guys check that, go over that, make sure that you're doing that correct. Then the plan is tomorrow I will post a short video. Well, actually, today I'll post the review guide so that you guys can do the review guide and all of that. Then tomorrow I'll post a short video of me just going over the answers to that review guide so that you have it for Friday. Okay, so that's kind of the plan. Remember, Friday we're gonna have a quiz. The quiz will be just like the last one. It might be a little bit longer, but the problems are shorter than quadratic formula and completing the square problem. So that's kind of the plan there. So today, really, the only thing you're going to see is me just going over the homework. That's the plan. Okay. All right. So the first thing here for these adding and subtracting problems, if you remember, when we're adding or subtracting, the thing that we have to have is the same number underneath the radical sign. It's similar to combining like terms. Okay, like if we have 3x plus 2x, we have to have the same variable. It's the same thing here. We have to have the same number under the radical. So since our radical 3 and our radical 3 are the same here, we can just do 14 minus 6, and our answer is going to be 8 radical 3. Okay. Same thing here. We've got 9 radical 5 and then just plus radical 5. Now, we've got the same thing under the radical. This would be like if we had 9x plus x. There's like an invisible 1 that we don't write right there. Okay, so in this case here, we would do 9 plus 1, and I'd get 10 radical 5 for an answer there. All right, here we've got radical 2, radical 2, radical 2, which means that we've got the same. Okay, so we're going to do 6 plus 5 minus 15. Okay, so 6 plus 5 gets me 11. Minus 15 gets me negative 4 radical 2. Okay, that's just 6 plus 5 minus 15. Here for number 5, okay, we do not have the same underneath the radical. And 7's a prime number, so there's no perfect square that we could pull out of that to simplify. So in this case here, this one here is simplified. That's my answer. All right. 6, we've got radical A and radical A underneath the radical sign. So if we're just going to do 5 minus 9, so 5 minus 9 is going to get me negative 4 radical A. Okay. Here for 6, we've got, for number 7, we've got 9 radical 6A plus 6 radical 5A minus 4 radical 6A. Okay. What we need to do is see, okay, well, we've got the same underneath the radical right there, so we can do 9 minus 4, combine the 9 and the negative 4, and that's going to get me 5 radical 6A. And then this here, we can't combine with anything else because it doesn't have the same underneath the radical, so this would just stay as 6 radical 5A. And that would be my answer there. Okay? Now, all of these had numbers or expressions underneath the radical sign that couldn't be simplified. 3, 5, 2, 7 and 2, A's, 6 A's, 5 A's. Those couldn't be simplified. Now, that's not always the case, though. Here for 8, now we have numbers that we can start simplifying. Okay, so 32. Okay, when we have radical 32, remember, when we're simplifying this, we're thinking of something that divides out of it that's a perfect square. Okay, and the way that I told you to do that is use your list of perfect squares. Okay, well, 32. Okay, we have a 16, or no, the first one would be 5, okay, which would be 25. 25 doesn't come out, but then you have 16 that's a perfect square that comes out. So you would you would separate this. You've got radical 16 times radical 2, because 32 divided by 16 is 2, minus, and then if we did this one, the perfect square that comes out of 8 would be 4. So we have radical 4 times radical 2. Okay, then we can simplify here. Radical 16 here is going to be 4 radical 2 minus radical 4 is going to be 2 radical 2. Okay, and then our last step here, since we have the same thing underneath that radical and the same thing underneath that radical, we do 4 minus 2 and get 2 radical 2. Okay, good. All right, moving on to 9. Okay, same kind of question here. We've got to do some serious simplifying. All right, we need to think of a perfect square that comes out of 12. Well, the only one that can be there is 4 again. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll include this 4 that's already there. So we're going to have equals. We're going to have a 4 that's already there times. We just pulled out a radical 4. What would we have left? Radical 3 plus. The perfect square that comes out of 75 in this case would be radical 25. 75 divided by 25 would be times radical 3. Okay, if we do some simplifying, we're going to have 4 times square root of 4 is 2 times square root of 3 plus square root of 25 is 5 times square root of 3. Do some more simplifying. 4 times 2 is 8, so this is going to be 8 radical 3 plus 5 radical 3. We've got the same radical sign here, the same radical sign here, so we can do 8 plus 5, and we're going to get 13 radical 3. Okay. Let's see if we can shrink this down a little bit here. All right. So I hope we're understanding that idea. Now, if you're somebody that's still using the factor tree method to simplify these, I'm fine with that. I'm not going to tell you not to, but I'm going to tell you that you're probably doing a little bit more work. Okay, that's it. All right, so we move to 10 now. Okay, 2 radical 3 does not simplify. That's going to stay right there. Okay, plus we're going to have just 5 because 5 is already outside, times. We can pull out a 4 here because a 4 is a perfect square. So we can do radical 4 times radical 3. And then with 27, we're going to run out of room here. With 27, the perfect square that comes out of that one will be square root of 9. So we'll do minus and then radical 9 times radical 3. Okay? Do some simplifying here. 2 radical 3 stays the same. Plus, this is just going to stay as 5 times radical 4 is 2 times square root of 3. And then minus, this is radical 9 is going to be 3 times radical 3. Okay, go do some more simplifying. We're going to have 2 radical 3 plus, to simplify this, we'll do 5 times 4 and have 20 radical 3. And then minus 3 radical 3. So all of this can simplify now. 2 and 20 are going to combine to 22 radical 3 here. So we have 2 and 20. So that's 22 radical 3, and then minus 3. So 22 minus 3 gets me 19. So my answer is going to be 19 radical 3. Okay. Okay, I hope you're following along with me here. Let's move on. All right, 11, we had some x's in there. Not much changes. Okay, so there's not much we have to worry about. The x's are just going to stay underneath. Okay, let's focus on 20. What perfect square can we factor out of 20? Well, think of perfect squares less than 20. After 20, which is, you have to go right to 4, which is 4 times 4, which is 16. Okay, 16 doesn't come out of 20 clean. Okay, and next would be 9. 9 doesn't, it's going to be 4 again. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to have radical 4 times 20 divided by 4 is 5, so we have radical 5x minus, all right, the perfect square that comes out of 45, all right, is going to be 9. So you're going to do minus and then radical 9 times radical 5x. Okay, we do a little simplifying now. Square root of 2 or 4 is 2, so we have 2 radical 5x minus, here we have square root of 9, which is 3, and this is radical 5x. 2 minus 3 is going to be just negative 1 or negative radical 5x. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Square root or radical 28c. Okay, for number 12. So we need the perfect square that comes out of 28. In this case here, the perfect square, I mean, we can go to, I don't think 16 is definitely not going to come out clean. 9 doesn't go into 28. 28 divided by 4 is going to be what we need. Okay, so we factor out our radical 4 times radical 7c plus, we're going to keep this 9 out, times, okay, 24. 16 doesn't work, 9 doesn't work, it's 4 again. So radical 4 times radical 6c. Okay, set this equals. This is going to be 2 radical 7c plus 9 times square root of 2 is, or 4 is 2 times 6c equals, so we're going to have 2 radical 7c plus 9 times 2, which is 18 radical 6c. 7c and 6c aren't the same, so that is as simplified as I can go with this one. Okay. Let me shrink that down a little bit for us. All right. And then the last one. Okay. This is a bit of a doozy. Okay. See if we can make enough room there. All right. We got to go through each one. Okay. In this case here, 50, the perfect square that would come out of that is 25. So I'm going to have square root of 25 times square root of 2t minus the perfect square that comes out of, well, first I'll put the minus 2 times the perfect square that comes out of 12 is going to be radical 4. So I have radical 4 times radical 3t plus 3 radical 2t. Okay, a little bit shaky here, but square root of 5 is, or 25 is 5, so I have 5 radical 2t minus 2 times square root of 4, which is 2, times 3t plus 3 radical 2t, and then equals 5 radical 2t minus 2 times 2 is 4 radical 3t plus 3 radical 2t. Okay, and I just simplified that right there for that step. And then I have a like term here and here. Okay, 2t and 2t, and it's 5 and 3, so it's going to be 8 radical 2t. That's terrible handwriting. I'm going to fix that. So we're going to have 8 radical 2t minus, and then I couldn't combine here, so that's just 4 radical 3t. Okay. So that is 2 through 13. Let's scroll down and look at 14, just in case there's one that ends up on a quiz. This will be a good review. All right. Find the perimeter of the trapezoid shown. Give your expression as a radical expression in simplest form. Okay. So let's write this whole thing out. That's what I think the first thing you should do is just write everything out. Okay. So we're going to have radical 8 plus radical 8 plus radical 50 plus radical 18. Okay. And we should simplify each one of these one by one. So the first one is going to be square root of 4 times square root of 2 plus square root of 4 times square root of 2 plus perfect square that comes out of 50 is going to be square root of 25 times square root of 2. Perfect square that comes out of 18 is going to be square root of 9 plus square root of 2. Whew. All right. Come back down here. Square root of 4 is 2. So 2 radical 2 plus. Square root of 4 is 2. So 2 radical 2 plus. Square root of 5 is 5 radical 2 plus. Square root of 9 is 3 radical 2. So if I take my 2 plus 5 plus 3, I'm going to have 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. So my answer is going to be 12 radical 2. And I'm going to go back to the question to make sure. Give your answer as a radical expression in simplest form. That would be my perimeter right there. Okay? All right. So that's going over the homework. Okay? Please, if you've made it to here, then I know you've done what you're supposed to do and gone over each question, which is great. And I'm going to reward you for that, okay? So if you have made it to this part of the video on your quiz today, or on Friday when you take it, if you write your name, so if I write my name of, let's go with Ben Keith, and then after your name, if you put a smiley face, I'll give you a bonus point for making it to this part of the video. Okay? Like I said, tomorrow I'll post a quick video going over this review guide. The review guide's due tomorrow at 11:59. And that's about it. I will talk to you guys. If you guys have questions, please ask. Okay? You guys rock. Peace out. See ya.